Are you struggling with the motivation to get things done? In this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience with my lack of motivation, as well as sharing tips that you can try to work through this wall, through that block. A girl just Googled, and motivation has two different definitions that I've seen here. I'm going to read both of them. Here we go. The reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. That's the first one. The next one that I see here is the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. What I get from this definition of motivation, I'm just summing it up to more of a willingness to do something. And so how willing are you to do the thing that you've been putting off? How willing are you to take the step that you've been wanting to take but not taking it? How willing are you? And what are the blockages that are getting in the way? For me, I struggle with going and getting things done from start to finish. A title I no longer want to hold, in knowing that I have a willingness to move forward even when I don't want to move forward even if it takes me a month to do the one thing that could have taken a day. What happens if you don't know what is causing you to have this motivation problem? Where does your lack of motivation lie? What are the few things that can be chopping away at your motivation? Fear and doubt, internal conflict, confusion, burnout, choosing comfort over conflict, and a host of other things. What are the ways that we can manage and work through this lack of motivation? Consider asking yourself questions. Sometimes we just allow things to happen as they go and don't think to ask ourselves questions. For example, why am I feeling this way? Am I running away from something? Am I scared, nervous, overwhelmed, or confused? Will I be disappointed in myself if I decide not to move forward? Now, as you ask yourself these questions, you need to be listening to what your mind has to say. And if your mind is not telling you, feel it out in your body. And if you're not able to interpret what your body is telling you, then just take a journal and journal throughout the day. Something may come up in hindsight. But while you're in that moment, consider what your mind is telling you as far as what excuses is it giving you to not do those things. Are you not wanting to get out of bed? Why are you not wanting to get out of bed? Are you not wanting to execute on the thing that you told someone that you were going to do, but decided, well, actually, I don't need to do it? Why are you not doing those things that you say you're going to do? Why you're not taking action in the things that you want to do for yourself, but are not doing? What is holding you back? What are the excuses that are playing in your mind that is holding you back? You've asked yourself questions. You've listened to what your body has to say and what your mind is saying. And now you need to take action. Taking action can be saying, I've recognized that I said yes to something that I don't want to do. And so now I'm going to pick up the phone, call that person I said yes to, and say, actually, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And so that can be taking an action because you were not honoring yourself, for example, in that moment and said yes to something you did not want to do. And your lack of motivation was not because you were unmotivated. It was because essentially you were violating yourself by saying yes to something you actually didn't want to say. That's not necessarily a motivation issue. That's a self-abandon issue, for lack of better words in this moment. In the event that you say, I want to complete 10 push-ups tomorrow morning, and tomorrow morning comes and you're like, this bed is so comfortable. I have so much to do today. I don't feel like doing these 10 push-ups. In those moments, you're like, okay, let me just do one and let that be your first step. That be your first taking action. Maybe one will turn into 5 and you were halfway instead of at the 0 point. We take actions, it helps in that motivation, it helps in pushing us forward towards that goal, towards the action, towards the vision, whatever it is that you're working on and working towards. Taking a step can be as small as just writing down what you need to know. For example, maybe your lack of motivation is this job that you want. And you're like, I don't even have the skills to get there. That leads to doubt, that leads to fear, that leads to discomfort, that leads to overwhelm, that leads to confusion. And now you're like, oh, maybe I'm never going to get there. So in taking a step could be, what do I need to know? How long will it take for me to know these things? Who can I call? Where can I get information? And do I even want to do this? These are kind of the steps that you're going to be taking to evaluate your level of motivation to want to do this particular thing. If you have pinpointed that your motivation is linked to something that you're personally struggling with, find a support group in your town or in your city that you can join to hear different perspectives, to learn from others, and to learn more about yourself and what the source is for your lack of motivation. It may also be helpful to consider a self-care routine because it is so easy to go like through the day quickly and not think back about how have I cared for myself? How have I maintained my hygiene? How am I maintaining my health? Because in not doing so, we can easily burn out. We can easily be discouraged. We can easily feel like we don't have time. Taking time for self is an asset. It's an investment that can pay off greatly. It is easy to feel like you are on your own. And that's literally your mind playing tricks. Let me not say your mind. The enemy wants you to feel like you're alone so that you are easily captured, easily able to be maneuvered, to be moved in directions that you don't want to go in. But you're going in because you're siloed. And when you're siloed, there's less windows of, I can see difference, I can see change, I can see possibilities, I can see that this doesn't have to be it. So step out of being alone, step out of the feeling of feeling alone, and embrace the people around you. Embrace your support system. If you don't have a support system, build one. And also go with me to Matthew 11:28 reads, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, I will give you rest." We are not alone. We have a God, we have a Heavenly Father, we have a source that is here to help us. We have someone who is waiting for us to give these burdens, give our struggles, give our shortcomings, or what we feel as internally, what we feel personally as shortcomings over to. He is there to take it on. We need to be willing to give our struggles to Him and know that we are not alone. We have a partner in this. And if you're not a believer in God, you have a partner in those people who are placed into your life, resources that you have access to. There is a source, there's a resource, there's support out there for you. You are not alone. I am not alone. We are not alone, and we don't have to believe those lies. We don't have to believe them. Now, when you've reached all possible avenues and you're not sure where to go, and even if you haven't reached all possible avenues, you might want to consider getting professional support. And that does not mean you're less than. That doesn't mean that you're not able to move forward. That doesn't mean you're not strong enough. It just means help is going to be received in any way, in any form that I can receive it in, that you can receive it in. It just means I understand I've reached my end here and I need some backup. And let me get my backup. And backup could be a counselor, it can be a coach, it could be a person you trust and love, and it's okay. We all are in need of support. We are here to be surrounded by others, to be supported by others, to be uplifted by others, and to uplift and serve others. Motivation is a thing of discipline. And I'll share with you, and so when I struggle with my motivation, I recognize that there's some discipline problems that I have. And my discipline problems could be I said yes to something, but now I'm like, I don't feel like it. I don't want to do it, as motivation's responds to. But if I have discipline, discipline is I said I'm going to do something and I'm going to hold myself accountable for doing that something. When we use the word motivation, it gives us the freeness to be like, well, it's okay. I'm not motivated today. But when you use the word discipline, it's like, wow, I haven't been disciplined. So it carries a different level. And it makes you feel like, wow, okay, I need to work on this discipline problem that I have. Not a motivation problem, but this discipline problem that I have. What is causing me not to be disciplined in this area? Consider thinking about lack of motivation as lack of discipline and see if that makes any improvements in your days. I come to say, you are not alone. You are not alone. We are a community of people working together to make things happen. And let's make things happen together.